Welcome back to Medrash Umaisa, sharing a story for this week's Parsha, Parshas VaEira, and for the yahrzeit of the Baal HaTanya. There was a Jew back in Russia who was a chassid of the Baal HaTanya, and he worked like so many Jews did for a paritz, a feudal landowner who was in charge of everything that happened in an entire region, and anyone who really wanted to work and earn a living had to work under his auspices. This Jew was a loyal employee of the paritz, but the paritz often felt he could ask him to do anything he wanted. The paritz sank into debt, and he needed money immediately. He called over the Jew. He said, Moshke, which was what they would always call the house Jew, I need you to get me 50,000 rubles immediately. If not, I'll have you banished from my territory. The Jew was very distraught. He ran to his Rebbe, the Baal HaTanya, and the Baal HaTanya calmed him down. He told him, I'm sure that you'll be able to borrow money from wealthy Jews to help out, and I give you a bracha that you should succeed, and that you should succeed to pay back the loans in a timely manner. The Jew then went around and succeeded to borrow money, the money that he needed, from a variety of different generous Jews. He came to the paritz, who delightedly took the 50,000 rubles. After time, when the Jew realized the paritz wasn't repaying him, he had to come and remind him that he had taken out loans on the paritz's behalf and he needed to repay the lenders. The paritz said he would hope to get around to it soon. Time passed. Again, he came back to the paritz and reminded him. Eventually, the paritz got tired of this and decided to solve the problem by exiling this Jew to Siberia. He was placed on a train on the long trip to Siberia and stepped out into the freezing wilderness where he was going to have to work in hard labor. However, a day after he was there, the commander of the work camp called him in and told him that he was released and he could go home. When he returned home, he found out what had happened. The Tsarina, the wife of the Tsar, used to take a daily walk by a river. One day she slipped and fell into the river and nearly froze to death. That got her thinking about helping other people who might be suffering from the cold, and she thought of the prisoners in Siberia and gave an order that at least a certain amount of prisoners be released, and our Jew was one of them. When he returned, he and all the other prisoners who were released were supposed to walk before the Tsar and the Tsarina to thank them for the clemency. Most of the prisoners were very rough-looking Russian criminals, and as he passed by the Tsarina, she noticed a very noble-looking, gentle Jew, and she asked him, how did you end up in Siberia? He told her the whole story. She was outraged when she heard what the paritz did, and she commanded that the paritz be sent in his stead to Siberia. After that was over, he came back to the Baal HaTanya, and he said, Rebbe, why did I have to go to Siberia for a day? The Baal HaTanya said it was because of gaiva, because of arrogance. He said, think back. When you were borrowing the money from people, you would say things like, I will make sure to pay you back. I am going to take charge of this. I'm going to be responsible. I'll get you the money in time. Everything was I, and I. You needed this lesson to remember that everything we do comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In Parshas VaEira, the pasuk says, "V'lakachti eschem li la'am," Hashem says, I'll take you to me as my nation. V'yisi lachem le'elokim, I'll be your God. V'yadatem ki ani Hashem hamotzi eschem mitachas sivlos Mitzrayim. I am Hashem, your God, who takes you out of the suffering of Mitzrayim. Sfarim point out that present tense, that ongoing present tense of hamotzi, means that this happens all the time. The concept of Mitzrayim is with us every day, and we always need Hashem to take us out of Mitzrayim, out of our limitations. That is something we're supposed to know, and that's one of the reasons we need to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim every day. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.